Welcome to Accent Podcast. I'm so glad you're here. You could be doing anything right now, but you chose to grow, to listen, to change, and that means something. Today, we'll talk about something small, but powerful, something that shapes your future, one tiny action at a time. Today's topic is the science of habits. Let's begin. Part 1. What are habits? Let me ask you a question. What did you do this morning? Right after waking up? Did you check your phone, brush your teeth, drink water, make your bed? You probably didn't even think about it. You just did it. Automatically. That's a habit. A habit is something you do regularly. Without needing to decide. Without thinking deeply. It happens on its own. Some habits are useful. They help your life run smoothly. They save time. They reduce stress. Other habits? Not so helpful, even harmful. But you still repeat them. Why? Because habits are powerful. Your life today is shaped by your habits. How you eat, how you speak, how you think, how you spend your time, all these things come from small actions you've repeated over and over again. You are what you repeatedly do. Let's look at some examples. When you hear your alarm, you press snooze. You've done it for years. When you get home, you open the fridge. Even if you're not hungry, when you're bored, you grab your phone. Without even realizing it. These actions are automatic. That's what makes them habits. But here's something even more important. Habits don't just affect what you do. They affect who you become. If you run every morning, you become a healthy person. If you write every day, you become a writer. If you listen to podcasts daily, you become a learner. You're always becoming something. The question is, are your habits helping you or hurting you? Let's talk about how habits form. They don't happen overnight. They begin small. One day you try something, then you do it again, and again, and again. Soon your brain says, hey, I know this. Let's automate it. Now, you don't need to think. Your brain saves energy. You formed a habit. Habits are your brain's way of being efficient. Your brain loves shortcuts. Habits are those shortcuts. Imagine if you had to think about how to tie your shoes every single day, or how to drive a car. From the beginning, every single time. That would be exhausting. Thanks to habits, you don't need to. Your brain builds autopilot systems. That's what habits are. Think of it like this. You're walking through grass. At first, it's hard, but if you walk the same path every day, the grass becomes flat. A path forms. It gets easier and easier. That's what happens in your brain when you repeat an action. You create a mental path, a habit. But here's where it gets interesting. Your brain doesn't care if the habit is good or bad. It just follows the path you create. So, if you build the wrong path, it will still follow it. That's why it's hard to break bad habits. And that's why it's important to create good ones. Let's look at different types of habits. There are 3 main types: physical habits, mental habits, emotional habits. Physical habits are actions. Eating, sleeping, exercising, stretching, how you sit, how you breathe. These all become habits over time. If you slouch every day, your body gets used to it. If you walk daily, your body builds strength. Mental habits are thoughts. Do you often doubt yourself? Do you judge others quickly? Do you assume things will go wrong? Those thoughts can become habits too. But so can positive ones, like gratitude, like curiosity, like optimism. You can train your brain to think better thoughts, one repetition at a time. Emotional habits are how you react. Do you get angry easily? Do you panic under pressure? Do you feel jealous often? These emotional reactions are habits too. But with awareness, you can learn to pause, breathe, respond better. That takes practice, but it's possible. Now you might ask, how long does it take to build a habit? You've probably heard, it takes 21 days. That's a myth. In truth, it depends. Some habits take weeks, some take months. Research shows the average time is 66 days to build a strong habit. But don't let that number scare you, because every day you repeat a habit, it becomes easier, more natural, more automatic. So how do you know if something is becoming a habit? Here are 3 signs. You do it without thinking. You miss it when you skip it. It feels like part of who you are. That's the goal. To make the right habits. Part of your identity. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who wanted to get healthier, but he hated going to the gym, so he made a small rule. I will go to the gym every day, but I don't have to work out. I just have to show up. For the first week, he walked in and walked out. But soon, he stayed longer. He picked up weights. He jogged. And after 2 months, he never missed a day. Why? Because he wasn't trying to be perfect. He was just building a habit. That's the magic of habits. You don't have to do much. You just have to do it. Often. Small actions. Done daily create big results. Let's summarize. Habits are automatic behaviors. They save brain energy. They form through repetition. They can be good or bad. They shape who you become. So if you want to change your life, start with your habits. Start small. Start simple. Start now. Because the smallest habit, repeated every day, can change the entire direction of your life. Part 2. How habits work. The habit loop. Accent podcast. B2 English listening practice. Let's continue our journey now that we know what habits are. Let's talk about how they work. Because if you understand the system behind habits, you can learn how to build better ones and break the bad ones. So what's the system? It's called the habit loop. Every habit follows the same loop. It has 3 parts. Let's repeat them together. Cue, routine, reward. Say it again with me. Cue, routine, reward. This is how your brain builds and repeats habits. Let's break it down. Cue, the trigger. The cue is what starts the habit. It's a signal. It tells your brain, hey, it's time to do something. A cue can be anything. It could be a time of day, a place, an emotion, a sound, a smell, a feeling, a person. Example, you wake up. That's a cue to check your phone. You walk into the kitchen. That's a cue to open the fridge. You feel stressed. That's a cue to eat snacks. Cues are everywhere, but we don't notice them because they feel automatic. But when you start to notice the cue, you can begin to change the habit. Routine, the behavior. This is the actual action, what you do after the cue. It could be brushing your teeth, scrolling social media, smoking a cigarette, going for a run, stretching, complaining. The routine is what we usually call the habit. But remember, it's just one part of the full loop. The behavior is the thing you want to change. But if you don't understand the cue and the reward, you're missing 2/3 of the picture. Reward. The brain's satisfaction. Why does the brain repeat habits? One reason. It gets something from it. That's the reward. The reward tells your brain, this action is worth remembering, so it saves that behavior and makes it easier to do next time. Rewards can be a feeling of relief, a taste of sugar, a sense of control, a boost of pleasure, a moment of escape, even just avoiding boredom. Let's go back to the snack example. Cue. You feel stressed. Routine. You eat chocolate. Reward. You feel comforted. Boom. The loop is complete. Your brain says, great. Let's do that again next time. Let's look at a positive example. Cue. You wake up. Routine. You drink water. Reward. You feel fresh and alert. If you do this enough times, your brain builds the loop. Wake up. Drink water. Feel good. Soon, it becomes a habit. The more you repeat the loop, the stronger it becomes. It's like a trail in the forest. The more you walk it, the more visible it becomes. And the easier it is to follow. That's how habits are formed. Through repetition, through loops, through rewards. You might think, I need more motivation. But motivation isn't reliable. What's reliable? Structure. Systems. Loops. If you set up your environment to trigger the right cues, make the routine easy, and reward yourself at the end, you won't need as much motivation. You'll have momentum. Let's go deeper. There are actually 4 parts to the loop. If we follow James Clear's model from Atomic Habits: cue, craving, response, reward. Let's explain that. Cue, the signal. Craving, the desire. What you want is not the habit itself. It's the feeling it gives you. We don't want to scroll our phones. We want stimulation. We don't want to eat chips. We want comfort. We don't want to work out. We want to feel strong and proud. So between the cue and the action is a craving. Understanding your craving helps you redirect it to better habits. Response, the action you take. This is your behavior. It depends on how motivated you feel, how easy the action is, and how much effort it takes. If it's too hard, you won't do it. That's why building good habits starts with making them easy, and breaking bad habits starts with making them hard. Reward, the benefit you get. Your brain asks, was this worth it? If the answer is yes, the loop repeats. The more satisfying the reward, the faster the habit sticks. This is why celebrating small wins matters. Every time you succeed, your brain smiles and wants to do it again. Let's apply this to real life. Good habit. Example, reading. Cue, you finish dinner. Craving, you want to relax. Response, you open a book. Reward, you feel calm and focused. Repeat this daily, you become a reader. Bad habit. Example, phone addiction. Cue, you feel bored. Craving, you want stimulation. Response, you open social media. Reward, you get a burst of dopamine. Repeat this daily, you become addicted. See how it works? Habits are not random, they follow a pattern. When you learn to spot the pattern, you take back control. Here's a tip, use a habit journal. Each time you do something on autopilot, write it down. Ask yourself, what was the cue? What was I feeling? What did I do? What did I get? This will help you discover your hidden loops. And once you see the loop, you can change the loop. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who always came home from work and immediately opened a beer. He didn't understand why. He thought, I guess I just like drinking. But when he started tracking the loop, he realized, cue, he was tired. Craving, he wanted to relax. Response, he drank beer. Reward, he felt calm. So he tried something different. He kept the cue, being tired. Kept the craving, wanting to relax. But changed the response. Instead of beer, he took a short walk, or a hot shower, or played music. And guess what? It worked. Same loop, better habit. So here's your challenge. Pick one habit you want to build, or one you want to break. Write out the full loop. Cue, craving, response, reward. Then ask, can I change the cue? Can I replace the response? Can I make the reward better? This is how you reprogram your habits. Not by force, but by understanding the loop. Let's summarize part 2. Every habit follows a loop. Cue to craving to response to reward. Your brain repeats actions that feel rewarding. Motivation is short-term, but structure and environment help habits stick. You can change habits by changing the loop. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be aware, because awareness gives you power, and that power helps you build better habits. One loop at a time. Part 3. Building good habits. Let's be honest. We all want better habits. We want to eat healthier, move more, sleep well, read more, speak kindly, work smarter. But wanting isn't enough. If it were, we'd all already be perfect. So what really works? How do you actually build a habit that lasts? Today, we're going to break it down. Step by step, so you can finally create habits that stick with you for life. Let's get started. Rule 1. Make it obvious. Habits start with cues. If you don't see the cue, you won't do the habit. So make it obvious. Put it right in front of you. Want to read more? Put your book on your pillow. Want to drink more water? Place a full bottle on your desk. Want to stretch in the morning? Lay out your mat the night before. Make your habit so visible that you can't ignore it. Your environment should shout, "Hey, it's time to do this." Because when the cue is clear, the habit becomes easier to start. Here's a trick. Use visual triggers. What you see is what you do. A fruit bowl on the counter. Beats one in the fridge drawer. Running shoes by the door. Beat shoes hidden in the closet. Good habits need reminders. So design your space to remind you. Rule 2. Make it easy. Forget go big or go home. The best way to build a habit? Start tiny. Want to write every day? Start with one sentence. Want to meditate? Start with 1 minute. Want to run? Start with putting on your shoes. The smaller it is, the less resistance you'll feel, because action beats intention, always. And once you've started, you can keep going. There's a rule called the 2-minute rule. It says, any new habit should take less than 2 minutes to start. Not finish, just start. Because once you start, momentum carries you. Examples. Read 1 page often becomes 5. Put on gym clothes often leads to exercise. Write 1 sentence becomes a paragraph. Just start. That's all you need. Start small and show up daily. Rule 3. Make it easy to repeat. We often overcomplicate habits. We think habits must be hard, difficult, painful. But lasting habits are simple, effortless, repeatable. A habit that's easy to repeat becomes part of your identity. So don't focus on intensity, focus on consistency, a short daily habit. Beats a long habit you quit after a week. Success is built on the boring things you do every single day. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't do it for 30 minutes. You do it for 2 to 3 minutes, twice a day, every day. It's short, but it's daily, and that's why it works. Let your habits be small, but let them be strong. Rule 4. Habit stacking. Here's one of the best tools for building habits. It's called habit stacking. The idea is simple. Link a new habit to one you already do. Use this formula. After I current habit, I will new habit. Examples. After I brush my teeth, I will floss. After I drink coffee, I will journal. After I turn off my alarm, I will stretch. Why does it work? Because your brain already trusts the first habit. It acts as an anchor. And the new habit rides along. This makes new behaviors easier to remember and easier to do. Rule 5. Make it attractive. Let's be real. You won't stick with a habit if it feels boring or painful. So make it enjoyable. Make it feel like a reward. Pair it with something you love. Listen to music while cleaning. Use a nice pen when journaling. Brew your favorite tea when reading. These small pleasures turn your habit into something you look forward to. Because when a habit feels good, your brain wants to repeat it. This is called temptation bundling. You pair something you need to do with something you want to do. Example, need to walk more? Only let yourself listen to your favorite podcast while walking. Need to stretch? Only scroll Instagram after you stretch for 5 minutes. Link pleasure to progress, and your brain will crave the habit. Rule 6. Make it satisfying. Your brain repeats what feels good. So reward yourself. Celebrate wins. Check a box. Mark your calendar. Say out loud, I did it. Track your habit and watch your streak grow. Every small win tells your brain, this is worth repeating. That's how you create momentum. That's how you feel progress. Here's something powerful. Use a habit tracker. It can be an app, a notebook, a calendar. Each time you complete the habit, mark an X. Don't break the chain. Build the chain. Seeing your progress is a reward by itself. Let me tell you a story. A man wanted to build a writing habit. He didn't focus on writing a lot. He focused on showing up. Every day, he kept a notebook, and each day he wrote at least 1 line. He marked an X on the calendar. After 100 days, he had a notebook full of writing. More importantly, He had a habit. That habit led to a book. And that book changed his life. Remember, you don't rise to your goals. You fall to your systems. Habits are systems. Habits are structure. Habits are identity. Bonus tips. Here are extra ways to build habits. Track your triggers. When do you usually fail? What time? What mood? What place? Use that data to adjust. Use accountability. Tell a friend. Join a group. Make a commitment. It helps. Forgive failure. Missed a day? It's okay. Just don't miss two. One miss is human. Two is a habit. Review weekly. What's working? What's not? Refine as needed. Let's summarize. Part 3. Make habits obvious, easy, and satisfying. Start small. Show up daily. Use habit stacking and temptation bundling. Track your progress. Celebrate every step. You don't need discipline. You need systems. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. One small habit can change your energy, your focus, your health, your life. So today, pick one habit. Start small, do it now, and repeat tomorrow. And the next day, until it becomes automatic. Because greatness doesn't come from big events. It comes from small things, repeated daily, with love and intention. That's how good habits are built. That's how your best self is born. Part 4. Breaking bad habits. Let's be honest, we all have bad habits. Habits we wish we could break. Staying up too late, eating too much sugar, procrastinating, checking our phones nonstop. Negative self-talk. You don't need to feel ashamed. You're human. We all fall into patterns. But here's the good news. Bad habits can be broken. And today, I'll show you how. Let's begin. Why bad habits feel so strong. Bad habits are hard to break. Not because you're weak, but because your brain is efficient. It learns what feels good, and it wants more of that. Every time you repeat a bad habit, your brain gets a little reward, even if it's not good for you in the long run. That's how the loop forms. Cue, craving, response, reward. Even bad habits follow this loop. Example, cue, you feel bored, craving, you want stimulation, response, you open TikTok, reward, you laugh, you feel entertained. Boom, your brain says, let's do this again tomorrow. The more you repeat it, the stronger the loop becomes, until it feels automatic, until it feels like part of who you are. But you are not your bad habits. You are the one who can change them. Let's explore how. Step 1. Awareness is the first key. You can't break a habit you don't understand. So the first step? Become aware. Ask yourself, what habit do I want to break? When do I do it? What triggers it? What do I feel right before it happens? What do I get from it? Grab a notebook or use your notes app. Start tracking. Every time the habit happens, write time, location, emotion. What you were doing. What happened right before. What you felt after. This is called a habit journal. It helps you see patterns that you've never noticed before. For example, you may realize you only overeat at night when you feel lonely. Or you scroll your phone for hours when you're avoiding a difficult task. You're not lazy, you're soothing yourself. Once you understand the why, you can begin to change the how. Step 2. Identify the cue. Every bad habit has a cue, a trigger. It could be a time of day, a location, a person, an emotion, a thought. Example, you light a cigarette every time you drink coffee, or every time you talk to a certain friend, or when you feel nervous before a meeting. The key? Remove or interrupt the cue. Can you avoid the trigger? Can you delay your reaction? Can you create a pause? Even a 10-second pause can break the loop. Step 3. Make the habit. Invisible out of sight. Out of mind. If you want to stop doing something, make it harder to start. Don't keep junk food in the house. Delete the app. Turn off notifications. Block the website. Move your phone to another room. Even one extra step can make a huge difference. Your brain likes easy. So if the bad habit becomes harder, you'll do it less. That's called friction. Add friction to bad habits, and they weaken. Step 4. Make the habit unattractive. Let's be real. Bad habits feel good in the short term. But how do they make you feel after? Guilty, tired, disappointed, angry with yourself. Use that. Write it down. Be brutally honest. Example. After I eat junk food at night, I feel heavy and ashamed. After I scroll for 3 hours, I feel empty and stressed. After I skip the gym, I feel regret. Now read it out loud. Attach truth to your habits, so your brain stops seeing them as rewards. You can also flip the reward. Instead of focusing on what you get short-term, focus on what you're losing long-term. What is this bad habit costing you? Your energy, your self-confidence, your relationships, your health, your dreams? Be honest. The truth hurts, but it can also wake you up. Step 5. Replace the habit. You can't just remove a bad habit. You must replace it. The brain doesn't like empty space. It needs something in return, so choose a better response for the same trigger. Let's look at examples. Old habit. Cue. You feel stressed. Response. You binge eat. New habit. Cue. You feel stressed. Response. You go for a walk, or do 10 deep breaths, or journal. You keep the cue, but you change the routine. Another example. Cue. You feel bored. Old response. Scroll for 1 hour. New response. Listen to a podcast. Call a friend. Read 2 pages. You're not just removing behavior. You're replacing it with something that serves you. This is powerful, because now, your brain starts to enjoy the new loop. Step 6. Make the bad habit unsatisfying. Your brain repeats what feels good. So make the habit feel bad. No, not through punishment. Through accountability. Tell someone. Make a public promise. Track your actions. Example. If I scroll past 10 p.m., I'll donate $5 to a cause I don't support. If I eat junk food, I have to tell my accountability partner. Pain, even small, makes your brain rethink. And the fear of breaking your streak can be stronger than the craving. You can also use a habit breaker tracker. Each day you avoid the bad habit. Mark it with a check mark. See how long your streak lasts. Day by day, your identity begins to shift. From I'm trying to quit to I'm not that person anymore. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who wanted to stop swearing. He tried many times, failed. Then he told his daughter, "Every time I curse, I'll give you $1. The next day, he lost $5. The next, $3. Then only $1. By the end of the month, he had broken the habit. Not because of money, but because of shame, plus accountability, plus repetition. Final step, be kind to yourself. Breaking habits is not easy. There will be setbacks. You'll slip. You'll forget. You'll make mistakes. But don't give up. One mistake is not failure. It's just part of the process. Forgive yourself quickly and get back on track. The faster you return, the stronger you become. Let's review everything. 1. Awareness. Track the habit and know your triggers. 2. Identify the cue. Know what starts the loop. 3. Make it invisible. Remove temptation. 4. Make it unattractive. Focus on the long-term pain. 5. Replace the habit. Give your brain a better routine. 6. Make it unsatisfying. Use accountability. 7. Be kind. Progress, not perfection. You're not weak. You're learning. You're not stuck. You're growing. Every time you say no to the old habit, you say yes to the future version of you. The version who is stronger, more focused, more alive. Your habits don't define you. Your decisions do. So decide today. I'm ready to break free. One small step at a time, because you deserve better. And now, you know how to build it. Part 5. Tiny habits, big changes. Sometimes we believe that big changes require big actions. We think we need to overhaul everything, change our entire life overnight, become a different person. But that belief, it's the reason most people fail. Real, lasting change doesn't come from dramatic actions. It comes from tiny, simple, consistent steps. That's the secret. That's the science. That's the magic of habits. Let me ask you this. What's easier to do every day? 10 push-ups? Or 1 hour at the gym? What's easier to write each morning? One sentence? Or 10 pages? What's easier to remember? Drink a glass of water? Or follow a strict 20-step diet? The answer is clear. Small is easier. And easier means repeatable. And repeatable leads to results. Let's look at how small habits work. Imagine a plane leaving Los Angeles. It changes its direction by just 3 degrees. Not much, but after 6 hours, it doesn't land in New York. It ends up in Washington, D.C. That tiny shift? Over time, it leads to a totally different destination. Your life works the same way. One small habit, done daily, can change where you land. It's called the compound effect. Small habits may feel invisible. You don't see results right away. But over weeks, over months, they grow, like planting a seed. At first, nothing happens, but keep watering it. And one day, it becomes a tree. That's what tiny habits do. They build invisible power, until the result becomes impossible to ignore. Let's look at examples. Drink 1 glass of water every morning. In a month, you'll feel more energized. Write 1 line in your journal every day. In a year, you'll have a book. Stretch for 3 minutes each morning. In 3 months, you'll feel more flexible and calm. Smile at your partner every morning. In a year, your relationship will be warmer. Small actions, big results. The key is lower the barrier. Make the habit so small it's almost impossible to skip. Not, I'll run 5 kilometers, but I'll put on my running shoes. Not, I'll read 50 pages, but I'll open the book. Not, I'll meditate 20 minutes, but I'll sit still for 1 minute. Once you start, you often do more. But the goal isn't more. The goal is consistency. Let me tell you a story. A man wanted to go to the gym, but he always quit after a week. This time he said, I'll drive to the gym every day, but I only have to stay for 5 minutes. Strange, right? But here's what happened. He went every day. He stayed 5 minutes. Then 10. Then 20. After a month, he was working out naturally. No pressure, no guilt, no perfection, just tiny, consistent action. This is the truth. The hardest part of any habit is starting. If you can start, you can keep going. That's why tiny habits matter. They remove resistance, they invite momentum. And momentum is powerful. Here's a simple plan to follow. Choose one tiny habit. Something that takes less than 2 minutes. Link it to something you already do, like brushing your teeth, making coffee, coming home. Track it daily. Use a notebook, a calendar, an app. Celebrate immediately. Smile. Fist pump. Say, I'm proud. Repeat. Every single day. Let's say you want to build a habit of reading. Don't start with 30 minutes a day. Start with 1 page. Every night. Right after brushing your teeth. Keep your book on your pillow. You can't miss it. Open the book. Read just 1 page. Smile, you did it. That's enough. Because over time, 1 page becomes 2, then 5, then 10. But even if you only read 1 page, you're becoming a reader. This is called identity-based habits. You're not just building an action. You're becoming a new version of yourself. You're not trying to run. You're becoming a runner. You're not trying to meditate. You're becoming someone calm and centered. You're not trying to read. You're becoming someone who learns. Tiny habits shape who you are, and who you are shapes your life. Some people say, but it's too small. It doesn't count. That's wrong. It absolutely counts. Because the goal isn't to impress. The goal is to build a system. A system you can do on your worst day. A system that works even when you're tired, busy, stressed, unmotivated. Tiny habits are bulletproof. They keep you moving. When motivation disappears. Let's talk about emotions, because habits grow faster when they feel good. So make your tiny habit something you enjoy, or attach joy to it. Play music while doing it. Light a candle. Use your favorite pen. Celebrate each success. Your brain needs to feel, this is fun. Let's do it again. Pleasure plus repetition equals habit. Let's talk about failure. What if you miss a day? Here's the rule. Never miss twice. Missing once is okay. It happens. You're human. But missing 2 days? That's how bad habits return. So if you fall, stand up fast, forgive yourself, and return to the habit as soon as possible. Let's recap. Big changes come from small actions. Tiny habits are easy to start and hard to quit. One small step daily is better than a big step once a month. Link your habits to things you already do. Celebrate small wins. Track your progress. Never miss twice. You are what you repeatedly do. Conclusion. You become your habits. You've come so far. You've learned how habits work, how to build good ones, how to break bad ones, and now, how small actions create big changes. But here's the most important truth. Your habits shape your identity, and your identity shapes your destiny. You don't need to change everything today. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to wait for motivation. You just need to choose one small habit. Start today and repeat tomorrow. Because greatness doesn't happen in one moment. It's built one small action at a time, one decision, one page, one glass of water, one step forward. That's how real change happens. That's how you become who you're meant to be. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for choosing growth. Thank you for choosing yourself. I'll see you in the next episode. But until then, keep showing up. Keep taking small steps. Keep becoming the best version of you. Because every habit you build is a vote for the life you want.